Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
In this edition of Belize Watch Revisited, we look back at a 2014 conversation with historian Roy Rodriguez about the Maya city of Santa Rita. Rodriguez was accompanied by Adan Palomo, who was passionate about keeping the Maya culture alive. We take a break to hear from our partners, Honorable Kevin Bernard, the Barry, and Shell Belize Limited.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not one, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center. Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction-reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. Okay, we have arrived at Santa Rita, and the last time I was here in Santa Rita at the Santa Rita Mayan Temple, the last time was some years ago. It was in a state of disrepair, I must say. I came here with the late, great Mateo Ayuso, and I can recall Dr. Mateo giving me the story of the temple, and we went, I think, way to the top of the temple, right? And so I'd like to dedicate this revisit to the temple to his memory, because as we all know, Dr. Mateo Ayuso passed. So with me is Mr. Roy Rodriguez, another great Corozaleño, another great historian, born in Corozal, no long, Roy?
That's right. I was born in Corozal.
Raised at Corozal.
Yeah, raised at Corozal.
Lived at Corozal.
Yes, except for a few years that I also lived in Chaibe, another Maya place in
Maya
Shaibe
village.
because my father was the principal teacher there, no?
Okay.
So I was there for about 9 years or 10.
Okay. And then you have with you
Adan Palomo.
Adan. And Adan, tell me who is Adan Palomo?
Well, someone who is passionate for Maya culture, you know. Since I have a background of Maya, my great-grandfather, they were from the Cats War.
Okay.
So many stayed at Shaibe, and one well-known is in Paraíso.
All right. So you're 100% corozaleño
Yes,
and
100%.
beliceño.
Yes.
His grandfather, he says, was a man, no?
Yeah, he was
A Maya man.
man? A man?
A
Like
Maya
Yemen?
priest. No, a Maya priest. A Maya priest.
Was your grandfather?
Yeah, he was.
What you say in Maya, men.
Oh, men.
Right?
Men.
And also curandero, no?
Tell me about your father, man. You know. But your grandfather. Let me introduce our youngest person here. And your name is
Javier Chan.
Javier Chan, and I understand that Chan means small, right? So you're Javier Small.
Yes.
And Roy, you tell me this is your
No, he's just a friend of
a friend of
Palomo.
Yeah.
of Palomo. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for welcoming me here at Santa Rita, and really I am happy to be here once again. But then I was asking you to tell me about your grandfather.
Yes. Okay. There were many brothers. About after the Cats War, some stayed in Shaibe, the Alcocer family. But especially my great-grandfather, his name is Hilario in Paraíso. His name is Antonio Chimal. And then my mother. So in our family, we have that tendency on medicine, on
And herbal medicine.
herbal medicine. So I met Roy and we'd say, oh, we need to do something to bring back this about the men, the priests, since it was very necessary. His word, you know, a priest was an authority.
Yes, it was like
Yes, and he was respected. So when we talk about ranks, when someone had a whole hair, okay, he will explain more. Mayas at that time, they will respect, just as we see the prime minister or the queen. Oh, that man was to be respected.
Okay.
So that's all that I can say about my grandfather. And we have many families in Paraíso, related families to him, you know.
So you team up with Roy, and then you all push to get this this area rehabilitated, this Mayan city rehabilitated, Santa Rita.
We have just been part of a group, really, because alone we couldn't do much. And we have also, or we have with us the BTIA, that's the Belize Tourism Industry Association, the Corozal branch, no?
Yeah.
And they have been very, very helpful too in the organization of what you see today. Jack Temal, no? A temple that's, I suppose, about 40% restored, no? The restoration of the temple. So it has been a combined effort, you know? It's not only us, you know. We are passionate. I'm passionate about the Maya history, but we have been able to work together, no? With the BTIA and other people, no? Who really love and want to rescue, as I said, rescue the Maya, the Maya history.
And right before we walk to the temple, the temple that's under restoration, tell me about your family background a bit more.
Well, in terms of my family, my great-grandfather and grandfather, they are the ones who arrived, who crossed the Rio Hondo, the No Okum, no? During the 1848, and
What's
then
the name of it? The name
No
of the
Okum.
No Okum is the Mayan name for
means like profound, you know, or a deep river.
No Okum.
No Okum. NOHUCUM. No Okum.
No.
Okum, the river. No? So they're the ones who crossed the Rio Okum, the No Okum, and well, they settled Corozal, no? And well, they tell us a story about how they were able to do that. And well, that's another story that we would want to.
I like to hear that story.
The social and economic history of Corozal. During well, for let's say from 1848, 1858, up to 1893. When the Nookum becomes an official border, dividing us now into Mexico and Belize.
Belize.
That's the Spencer-Mariscal Treaty of 1893. But before that, I think it's very important to understand that that river was not a border. And therefore, when my great-great-grandparents crossed the Nookum and came to live here in Corozal, they were coming back home. It was their homeland. Not refugees or anything. They were coming back home. And this place welcomed them. In fact, that's the story of Chactemal, a story of people who have for 5,000 years occupied this area and always have been a heaven, a sanctuary, a place where people are welcomed, and 5,000 years of that.
So we look at the story today of Chactemal, how it came to being at this site here.
Yeah, and my parents, as I said, were part of this, by crossing the Nookum, into
Corozal. Now, what about the young man that's with us now? Let me learn a bit about you. Come, just tell me a bit about. Let's turn around here. Just tell me a bit about you, though.
For my grand is Maya, like
your grandmother.
It's cooking food for everything in the world.
And they teach you Maya?
Yeah.
So you speak Maya well?
Yeah. Some.
You go to school?
Yeah.
What school are you going to?
Not going right now.
You're not going right now?
No.
Okay. And so you just come here and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Come with Mr. Roy.
You stay with Mr. Roy. All right. I know Mr. Roy might be teaching you a whole lot of stuff, right? Huh? So you're learning from Mr. Roy. All right. Well, I want to thank you for accompanying us today and being with us, all right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to learn some more from Mr. Roy.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's a great teacher. Right? All right.
Could we say that a young boy like him being here, I think it's a sign of already rescuing the Maya culture, because you will find that in the past a lot of young people were ashamed, of just saying, my parents were Maya or I can speak Maya. So he being here, and many young people now with the activities we've been having here are now understanding the greatness of our Mayan heritage, and then doing this, coming here, asking questions. I want to do this. In fact, I think we have to rescue the language, because when we lose a language, we lose our culture. So we want to rescue. We want young people to with their parents. In many cases, their parents speak Maya, but they're ashamed to start a renaissance, a revival, where young people will want to learn. We want to learn Maya.
Okay. What are some of the things Mr. Roy taught you in Maya?
No, my granny talk.
Your granny taught you. What are some of the things they taught you?
My granny is tortilla, corn, penchuk.
Penchuk. What else?
And the beans.
You like the beans too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like tortilla and beans too, by the way. Especially, I like fried beans. What kind of beans you like? How you do your beans?
Everything beans.
Anything, anyway, beans is just beans, and beans is nice, right? And of course, you make good tortillas, well, that's good too, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Bush bull. Bush bull.
Black beans.
Black beans.
Bull is.
I wanted to mention something that we were talking with Roy. We 10 minutes ago, I was telling stories to this little boy that my grandmother told me. And Mr. Roy says that in other time we did not have television, radio. So in the evening, we'd sit down with our grandmother, and she will tell us stories. And many stories she will repeat over and over. So I can remember a story from 40 years, when I was small, maybe 6 years ago. And it's very necessary that we, elder people, teach our friends and gather together, That has been losing because we have internet, we have television, and our people, they don't have no knowledge of that treasure of literature. Since in that time, oral, they used to put talk. There were lessons, especially focused on on growing on him. So that's what we have been talking with Roy. That
Story. Remember you?
Well, yeah, but tell me this their story. I know we want to go and hear the history of Chactemal, but I like listen to stories too. So give me that their story. You want to hear the their story again? All right.
Maya, true, among the Maya.
That's why you had the their dance, and I see several dances where they use their horn and so on, right? So let me hear this their story.
Okay, this is my uncle, Fidel. He told me he was a hunter. In Paraíso, there are many hunters, just Sarteneja, other villages. So he had many dogs, and each dog had a name, a particular name, because dogs, some of them can run, others will smell.
Yeah.
Yes. So this story goes like this. One day, a hunter told his mom, "I want to go hunting." But no, grandmother told his son, "Why? We have lot of meat." In that time, we have a fire and was string, and then you put meat. So
Smoke the meat, no?
yes, so no need to go hunting.
Yeah.
But he wants to go hunting, So anyway, he tied his three dogs. One named Chunchua, related to a tortilla. Yeah, Rin, because he runs. And Rompecadena, he broke chin, because he was very strong, That's why I said each dog had a particular name and characteristic. Some was strong, smell. Okay, so he told his grandmother, "Mom, I will not take my dogs. I will tie them. I want emotion, When I reach there, if I see the deer, run behind or because if he goes on the dogs, it's no emotion."
Yeah.
So now there was a glass. He spit on that glass, put saliva, and he told his grandmother, "Mom, maybe I will be in danger. Please check this little glass. If the saliva goes up, I am in danger. Let go the dogs, and they will find me and free me from danger." See, he felt that, So he went. When he reached there, really, he met the deer, and he shot it there. But curious, how strange, the deer did not die. Multiply. From one was two.
Magic deer, man.
Yes. And okay, he took a bag. There was a mecapal bag, and he had seeds, magic seeds. It's important that magic in stories also is an important rule. So when he saw that the deer multiply, he climbed on a tree, and when he was up there, the deers, they came with their horn and like a
They hit against the tree,
Yes.
trying to bring it down.
Yes, and then the tree was going to fall. He took a seed, he dropped it down, and immediately, magic, a tree went up. So he jumped on that other tree, Okay, so the emotion comes that when the last tree was no more seeds, what will I do? So he asks Pisote, "Please help me, because I'm in danger." And the Gibnat said, "No, I can't help you. Remember when you killed all my family? Because a hunter will not only kill one animal. If he sees 5 of 10, he will finish them."
The give not taste good, right?
No, and another time, hunters will just eat one, just sufficient.
Yeah.
So sometimes greed. So many animals came and they did not want to help him because he was cruel with them. So one Icotea turtle, yes, come out from a deep hole of water and said, "I will help you." So it takes, the tree was nearly falling, so it takes part of his shell, like a wax. So he put that on it, he covered. This is a story, Yeah. But we as little boy would hear that, and that our imagination just...
Yeah, you would just go.
Yes. Because when the turtle approached the deers, he said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we're trying to kill that man. He has done too much harm to us." "Okay, make you rest." because their horns they were broken, since they turned one another. Okay, I will help you. But the turtle was wise. She already talked with the man, so in that time, a little human bird, approached. Yes, and he said to the human bird, the boy, please go to my auntie home because she's sleeping. She was sleeping while she was watching the little glass. Remember, she fell asleep. She was
And she did not notice the saliva.
yes, and danger. Yes. Now the little bird arrived at the home and it do le hizo cosquillas acá.
Tickled.
Yes.
Tickled her nose.
And she wake up. And then when she saw that the glass was estaba desbordando de saliva.
The glass was filled with saliva and overflowing with saliva.
Yes, she realized my son is in danger. Oh my God, what? So she let go the dogs, Chunchua, Rin Rin, and Rompecadena. Rompecadena because he's strong. When he reach, he will just.
Corozal chain.
Yes. And Rin Rin will just like Speedy Gonzales. Okay, so when the dogs reach there, they just fight. The dares with the dog. Anyway, that was his, era su salvación.
That saved him.
Saved him. Yeah. So from that time, this boy said, oh, no more. I will just hunt sufficient. I will not treat cruel animals, Just like little boys nowadays, they kill.
So he learned a lesson in kindness to animals.
Yes,
and don't take more than you need.
Yes, and also respect nature. Yes. So that story, I have it in mind from when I was 8 years.
Wow.
And I share with people. And
because those days there was no electricity, there was no television, there was nothing that the amenities we know. So those stories were important, and you heard the story, so you like that story, huh?
Yes.
So what it means to you? What it shows you?
Famous.
Huh?
Famous.
It makes you famous? All right.
We learn a lot from that.
Cruelty to animals,
which today
preserving
in
the environment,
schools, yes, preserving the environment,
protecting what's around us and learning from what's around us.
And that has been one of the Mayan virtues, that respect for the environment, and accepting that the environment plays an important role in our lives. In fact, which is today, something against what modernization is, where we don't care about the environment and we are destroying ourselves in the process. So we stand to learn a lot from the Mayas, and their heritage, what they have.
We will have much more from our 2014 visit to Santa Rita Maya Temple after we hear from our partners. Honorable Kevin Bernard, the Barry, and Shell Belize Limited.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Be less.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not one, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center. Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. Well, I'm enjoying this conversation, but so maybe we should think about moving towards.
While we walk, I think all of us understand, I want people to understand that we are walking on sacred grounds here.
Sacred grounds.
Yes, and I want people to know that we celebrated here on the 21st of, I think I mentioned that already, December 2012, the end of Bakhtun 12. And at that time, we had hundreds, if not 1,000 people coming to this temple to celebrate that, no?
Because of the sacredness and the significance of the temple.
Yes, just to have people understand that thousands of years ago, such a thing was happening here, where thousands of Mayas or hundreds would come here, congregate here for their rituals, for their spiritual ceremonies. No?
But you know, Roy, I want to ask you, maybe we could stop a little bit and you explain to us about the Bakhtun. You know, I remember last year I was saying Maya calendar ends, so yeah, people were saying the end of the world but we knew it was not so, but. Explain the Bakhtuns to me.
Okay, 2 things are important in explaining the Bakhtun. One is that the Mayas were vigesimal, not decimal, in their count system, their mathematics. No? So they counted 20, 20, 20. One Bakhtun is 20 by 20. Okay. That is more or less 400 years. Yeah. No? Approximately, you know, because of the discrepancies in our own calendar, it ends up about 386, 390 years, no? Because of discrepancies. But more or less it's about 400 years, 20 by 20. No? So another thing that's important is that the Mayas were, they had a linear concept of time where we have a linear concept, but the Mayas were cyclical. So they had in mind that at certain times, certain things would happen again. What happened, let's say, at a certain time would repeat, would happen. So based on those 2 things, the vigesimal counting and the fact that they were cyclical in their concept of time, then we go to an explanation of the Bakhtun. Bakhtun is one of the long count systems of measuring time by the Maya. And it is made up of 12 Bakhtuns. So if you take one Bakhtun, which you have explained has been 400, that would be 4,800 years. Then we understand then that if we go back, from 2012, which was the end of Bakhtun 12, and we go back, we figure it out, we find that then 2,500, 2,800 corresponds then to Bakhtun 1.
So Bakhtun
2,800
would have started in 2,800 BC, before Christ.
That's right, and that corresponds to the Paleo-Archaic period of Chactemal Corozal.
Okay, and so you're telling me that the Mayan civilization dates way back to 2,800 years before Christ.
2,500, 2,800
Before Christ.
Before Christ.
And this is measured in the Baktuns.
And this temple right here, the beginning of the count 2,500 corresponds then to the occupation of Chactemal.
So you're telling me that Chactemal, this place where we are standing, was occupied 2,500 years or so before Christ?
Before Christ. And if you add in the 2,000 right now, comes up to 4,500, 4,600 years. Close to 5,000 years of human occupation or Maya occupation of the temple. Of this temple, right.
And the site, because this is a major site.
Okay.
Right? There's
now,
much more.
this is important to note also that we have to understand that this was the center of control. And this temple then had subgroups. In fact, this temple had a radius of jurisdiction to about 10 to 12 miles, would cover up to San Narciso, all those areas all around, and crossing the river up to parts what today are Quintana Roo. And that time it was the Waimil Chactemal province. So it was a province maybe as big as 2,000 square miles.
Wow.
Okay, but controlled from here. And then this temple then had the subgroups that were directly controlled up to a 20-mile radius.
Okay.
And we have archaeological evidence to prove that by the Maya mounds all around this area, which we can see today. But because of the lack of resources, we cannot or we have not had the money to go and excavate, archaeological excavations to happen there. But we have, Shaibe has, as you know, we have been visiting. So, in fact, when Thomas Gann came here in the 1890s, early 1900,
And let's clarify who Thomas Gann was.
Thomas Gann was a British doctor.
Yeah.
There's a colonial government brought him from England.
The colonial government, there's a clock on Barrack Road that's dedicated to him.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Okay, that's good for him.
Gann's clock.
Gann's clock. Okay, but anyhow, Thomas Gann was here as a doctor, but he seemed to be also an amateur archaeologist or a treasure hunter, whatever. And he found one of the mural paintings right now, a very famous one, but it was not here. It was one of the mounds around.
Okay.
I'm sad to say that he used dynamite. Did good things for the Maya, but also destroyed a lot of Mayan history, destroyed a lot of our Mayan temples.
I understand dynamite, I'm not sure it was by him, but I understand dynamite was also used at Sudan at one time.
Yes, I understand that it was. In fact, Gan was all around the country, As at Nomul, which was finally destroyed 2 years ago, sad to say, it was a historical.
Nomul, that's a sad. That's very sad. Yeah, that's a sad case.
History,
Yeah, very sad. That's almost desecration.
That's right. Okay, so we have then to Thomas Gann and what he did here for us. But I think that what we're trying to point out is that this temple has been occupied for close to 5,000 years. Okay, of Maya occupation.
So why?
And therefore, when we hear that the history of Chactemal Corozal started, sometimes we say started with the coming of the Spanish, after crossing the Kaswar, crossing the Nookum. It's not true.
Yeah.
Our history goes back 5,000 years.
History goes 5,000 years.
And we have to know that. We have to show the people and our country, that our history is far back, for 4,800, 5,000 years. And then we have to show how that happened.
Okay.
How that happened.
And I'd like for you to do that for me. If you can just walk me through these 5,000 years. I know it's hard to sit down and walk through 5,000 years in a space of time. But I think for us to get a good grasp on what you're telling us and what you're teaching us is we need to really go through those 5,000 years. So maybe we could find a little spot that we could maybe sit on and learn some more about this famous temple.
Yes, Thomas Gann found that mural painting in one of the mounds. Not here. A mound really more, I think, going back to that area. That would be what, north, more east you know, and more, I think, closer to Altamira and what is today named Paraíso. But the thing is that he found that, and he left for about 1 or 2 weeks. And when he comes back, the whole thing was destroyed. So what we see now is his conception, you know, what he saw, and then he drew, you know.
Yeah.
And what we see, for instance, today in some of our history books, you know, we see that. We see that also at Corozal Junior College, where students and a teacher were able to draw what Thomas Gann, no, had seen there. But the original is not there.
And where's that painting? You said?
We at Corozal Junior College, you can say, you know, you're in one of the conference rooms now of the college. Okay, that's just telling you about what, and I think the importance of the mural is that you can see the strong connection between the Chactemal Maya and the Putun Maya and the Mixtec Maya. In other words, strong connections with farther up northwest, you know, with the Mayas in Veracruz, you know, all around the Gulf of Mexico, and which is important because it shows us that the prosperity of Chactemal, you know, in the post-classic period, was due to the development of a very strong trading network, and the people who were instrumental in that were the Putun Mayas.
The Putun Mayas. Tell me about the Putun Mayas, because
the Putun Mayas, some historians have even mentioned, and well, in a way they're correct. In a way, you know, we need more and more research. They consider them to be more north and therefore more into the Aztecs, you know.
Oh, okay. Aztec culture.
Aztec culture, you know, and Mixtec culture. Whether that's true or not, what happens around in 900 to 1000 when the Mayas in the central lowlands, that is Auschwitz, Xunantunich, Tikal, Huachachtun, and so on, Naranjo, they were abandoning their temples. We find then that there is the Putun Maya and the development of this thriving trading network, you know, by the Putun. And in fact, some of us historians are now posing that as one could be one of the major factors that caused the abandonment of the temples there in the central lowlands, that they were bypassed. It's just like trading, you know, it happens in our own days, you know, where
so the civilization declined because they were not along the popular trade routes.
That's right. That's right. I think you're seeing it, you know, and in fact, if you take a map, and which would be good to see the Yucatan and the Bay of Corozal, no, you can see now how they went all around the peninsula to the Gulf of Mexico, no, and controlling the I think the Usumacinta, Grijalva, all those areas, and then having Corozal as one of their most important centers of trading here, no. And from here, then, the development of trading up north and down south. Cerros was instrumental, I think, in the development of the Maya here during the pre-classic period, because you know very well that almost at the end of the pre-classic period, that's the late period of the pre-classic, Cerros had been abandoned already. Yeah, so 100 to 200 AD, that's our counting now, no? Cerros had been abandoned. So Cerros has nothing in relation to Chactemal's continued prosperity. Okay. Cerros had been abandoned already.
Okay. And so Chactemal continued to prosper as the main center in this area, extending, like you're telling me, several miles around.
Okay. And that trade now...
Many miles around.
Yes, and that trade, as I mentioned to you, up north, also south. In fact, recently, that's 2 years ago when there were excavations we made here in this temple, there was pottery, ceramic pottery, found from the Incas in Peru. So it means that the Chactemal Mayas were trading as far as Panama, and from Panama
to Peru.
Yes, from Peru. Peruvian objects, you know, were coming from the Incas, from Peru down to I would say down to Panama, and then from there, you know, it reached us. Yeah.
But
So it was a
Fascinating,
big trading development, commerce, So you can imagine that sometime around 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 AD, or years, now counting around, that you can imagine the bay, Chactemal and the bay, Corozal Bay,
Yeah.
Thriving with boats, and movement,
Everything, yeah.
100 boats there with, loading and unloading. Yes, making it an important area. And that's what makes Chactemal a very unique Maya community or center in this area.
Yes, I wanted to mention about the jade and the ornaments of these high priests. Okay, product from Guatemala, we can imagine quetzal bird, the feather, or even the bird, the treating that they will come here,
Yeah.
and maybe they would product from here, honey or tinta,
Die.
dye for the painting, the red, the black, or important encuentros for astronomy.
Encounters and so when I heard you saying dye, the dye was the same dye extracted from logwood, do you think, or where was the dye extracted from? Because I know the first European settlement thrived on logwood extraction. So were the Mayans extracting dye from logwood?
Okay. Probably could be, yes. But we have other woods that have different colors, At the moment, indigo. There's by Shaibe, a bush named indigo. And
Indigo.
I have a friend who is extracting that dye from, it's blue, intense blue, So we can think that there are other bush
Other bushes that would produce dye.
which today has been extinct.
Yeah.
Even I have a talk with friends. They said when they rob a certain bush, a color rosadito.
Pinkish.
Yes, so many bushes has been, being lost at the moment. So I was saying that feathers, jade, pedernal, they will bring and they will take products from here. That
More likely fish and that sort of thing, marine products into inland to the city's inland.
Remember they have the
Conch shell.
Yes.
It will only be found out here.
And even, as I said, the ceremonial part is because, as he talked about the Bakhtun, there are certain moments that they needed to be here, because after the Bakhtun, after that cycle finished, it was a feast, 5 days, nothing happened. So a renewal, they will break their pottery, everything.
Will be broken so that they can start anew.
Yes. One more thing comes to my mind. Maybe they will trade clay. Clay?
Yeah, but you don't have clay around here much, right? Do you? So that would have to be brought from somewhere else.
We went at, help me, Mr. Roy, ahead of Shaibe named Kanlum. The name Kanlum means red soil.
Okay.
So we have seen that this particular area is red. So probably the red soil from there has been clay. When you excavate down, you need to go about 10 yards down, because the white marl is also clay, but that's why.
That's white marl, yeah.
Yes, but the red one, I just am assuming that is a product that was trading also in their commerce. Plus also the ceremonies, for me, is very special. The El Jaguar, the tiger,
Jaguar.
Their dance, so they will trade with different things that we had here, that interconnection.
Well, let me try and put this story in perspective, because this is our country's history, basically, and we're going back now, Mr. Roy, to the 5,000 years. Let's start at the very beginning, all right, and then let's walk ourselves up through time.
You have to repeat a few things.
Yeah, you might repeat a few things, but let's walk ourselves up through time so that we can get it, precise.
We speak about the occupation of Chactemal.
5,000 years ago.
5,000 years ago, and we have to go back to the.
What was this area like?
This area was more what it is today. In fact, what made the area important is that, or made our ancestors 5,000 years ago to choose this area, because what we're talking about are nomadic people who were hunters, gatherers, and so on, no, at the beginning. But what made them settle down here is the fertility of the soil. In fact, it's just the fact of what made Chactemal great and continue to be great, no, all throughout, is the fact that if you notice, Chactemal is between two rivers and the Corozal Bay.
Yeah.
And then the rivers provide with their annual floodings, alluvial soils, and so on, make the area very productive soils. No? In fact, that is what then 4,800 years ago our nomadic ancestors made use of. And then they started to build technology appropriate at the time to make use of the environment here. And so we speak about big changes or transformations happening at that time with our Paleo-Archaic Maya. Them changing their style of life and becoming sedentary. And then sedentary means settling down. And then what's important is the discovery and the discovery of technology, appropriate technology at the time. You know, we call that sometimes primitive technology. You know, but that is important, dealing with things like corn, mostly agriculture, no, and domesticating plants and animals. Plants, corn, you know, which was a long process, but they did, no. And among the things that they domesticated, plants would be corn and beans, no. And the technology that, you know, there's a lot to it, but I think in short, what was the most important technology was nixtamal, the nixtamalization process.
That's what?
That is when the Maya were able to find a way to soften the corn. The kernel is hard, you know, so they had to boil it. I mean, it sounds to us quite simple, but it was not simple then, no? And the use of white lime, they had to find a way to make it. So that is a breakthrough in technology. Just the making of white lime.
The technologies of the early days.
That's right, but they were breakthroughs. In fact, they were like advanced technologies. No, so when they found that and they were able to use or the process to soften the corn, then from there, then civilization grew. It grew because what happens now is that you find, as we know it today, from corn, the derivatives are so many things.
Yeah.
You know, from corn we
so much
tortillas, we use that to eat all our types of food, plus also we use it to
porridge.
Porridge.
You name it. Corn is used.
Corn
Starch.
porridge. You mentioned some of them, no? So many things they made from it. It became an integral part of their lives. No? So that was a big technological breakthrough for the Maya. And white lime is important.
So what year you think that they would have
happened around, I would say, about between 2,800 to about 1,000. We are talking about the pre-classic period of the Maya.
Which is before Christ.
That's right, the pre-classic, before Christ. And then that created also the division of labor, you know, then the beginning of society, cosmovision, all the different institutions necessary, you know, for a community to survive. So we see then the beginnings or the foundation or the basis of what became the classic Maya, the classic civilization. But I think we are all agreed, this is all historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists, that it was during the pre-classic period that almost all the technology that we see about the Maya was invented at that time.
Okay.
What happened after that's 200, 300 to their abandonment of temples around 800, 900 AD is just a refinement
Okay.
In other words, take for instance Ceros. They had already built their huge temples there, and what happened at that time was maybe sometimes building another one on top.
That's what they do, no? That's what they would have done. When a ruler died, they would just build on top of the
classic.
So the temple just kept getting higher and higher and higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
But the base, the foundation was being laid there. Yeah. So this Chactemal temple, and we know for certain, had connections with Ceros. Yeah. At the time, trading.
In those old days, before Ceros was abandoned.
Classic period. In fact, we believe that Ceros may have helped Chactemal to grow. Okay. But whereas Chactemal grows now, I think has a better advantage than Ceros, because Ceros, one of the factors of Ceros is saying that Ceros had problems with water problems, led them to finally abandon the temples, but which they didn't have here. And plus, Corozal grows between these two rivers. You see them. The
Rio Hondo and
the New River and the beautiful bay.
And they both empties out into the Corozal Bay.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
New River and the Rio Hondo.
And the potential.
The river brings down a whole lot of riches down because from
on
the
the banks,
and the trading points that were around that hillbank area, Indian Church, Lamanai, Rio Bravo, all came down the New River right into the Corozal Bay and into Chactemal, right?
That's right.
That would be the route. So Chactemal would be like the seaport.
That's right.
For everything that came from Lamanai. And all the cities in
Guatemala
as far as Guatemala.
Yes,
so
because
hence the survival of Chactemal.
Yes, and Chactemal became a very important center at the time, and thriving. And I wanted to mention something that I still have in my mind. In fact, when the Spaniards arrived here, which were the first to arrive, not the British.
Yeah, the Spaniards were the first. Yeah.
When they arrived, I think there was one of them who said his own words we have documented, where he says that the honey that he found here and he tasted here in Chactemal was even better than the ones from Andalusia and in Spain. So honey was an important
yes. In the final segment of our April 2014 show, historian Roy Rodriguez and Adan Palomo spoke of the changes in the Maya lifestyle over the years. We take a break to hear from our partners, Honorable Kevin Bernard, the Barry, and Shell Belize Limited.
We are the Barry, offering you great products, good service, and of course, the lowest prices in the entire country. Visit us in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio Cayo, Orange Rock, and now in San Pedro, La Isla Bonita. The Barry. Get more? Fieles.
In the heart of the Orange Walk East constituency, a new chapter of progress and connectivity is being written. Under the visionary leadership of the area representative, the Honorable Kevin Bernard, and in partnership with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, we gather here today to celebrate a monumental achievement. Through a remarkable collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of Taiwan and the Government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, we stand witness to the inauguration of not one, but 2 Digital Connect Labs in the Orange Walk East constituency. 3 years ago, the village of Santa Marta faced a significant challenge. There was no telephone connectivity, leaving its residents isolated from the digital age. But today, thanks to the relentless efforts of the Honorable Kevin Bernard, a transformation has taken place. A smart tower was erected, bridging the gap and bringing the power of communication to Santa Marta. And now, in a remarkable step forward, we proudly unveil a brand new digital lab where the entire community will have access to cutting-edge technology and digital resources. This digital lab will empower the residents of Santa Marta, opening doors to education, healthcare, and countless opportunities for growth. As the People's United Party government propels us into a new digital era, Santa Marta shall not be left behind. But the story doesn't end there. As the sun sets on this monumentous day, we turn our attention to Carmelita Village, also nestled within the Orange Walk East constituency. With great joy and enthusiasm, we celebrate the inauguration of yet another Digital Connect Center, Once again, the power of digitalization reaches the people, bringing them closer to a future of limitless possibilities. As we witness the birth of a digital revolution in the Orange Walk East constituency, let us embrace this moment with hope and enthusiasm. Together, we shall create a future where no community is left behind, where connectivity becomes a catalyst for growth, and where the power of technology truly transforms lives. Welcome to the digital age.
Shell V-Power with 3 times more cleaning and friction reducing molecules. Go well. Go Shell. So when this,
Trading commodity.
it fires my imagination because I was on the New River yesterday, right? I went on the New River and we went all the way to Hillbank and came down from Hillbank, and it just fires my imagination to know that. And we also visited a looted Mayan site. Between Hillbank and Lamanai, there are several Mayan sites, and there's one that we stopped, and we saw where the looters went in and what have you, and so we know that whole area was a thriving Mayan center, and to think that whatever they might have been producing, like you were saying, from Guatemala and other areas, would come down the New River, come out into the Corozal Bay,
And they spread around. South, yeah.
And then if you go up the Rio Hondo, which I've been up to the Rio Hondo behind Blue Creek and all those areas where there are remains of Mayan villages, then you realize that the Rio Hondo was also an important trading route. And so the Rio Hondo empties out right here in the Corozal Bay. So hence, I guess that would guarantee the survival of the port city, which would have been Santa Rita. So while things get bad in the interior, everything is flourishing here because it ends up here to be exported. Now, tell me if I have that concept correct. More or less.
Yes, that's more or less what happened. And that trade then was not only there, on the banks of and the tributaries of the Nokum, the Honda River, and which we know, as he said, Rio Bravo. I mean, a good study of that area shows, how that area as a catchment area, as a good agricultural potential area, what was there, no?
And it's rich.
Yeah, rich.
It's rich. Yeah.
That is why we turned on other history, but part of it. That's why when the Chactemal was abandoned, I should say, in around the 1550s to 1650s, pushed by the British. Then they went there. So the Chactemal Maya were displaced and dispossessed by the British.
Yeah.
When they came here, they were cutting right here on the bay. They were cutting logwood.
Yeah.
Yes, right there on the coast. So the British had penetrated the coastal areas here and pushed the Maya, the Chactemal Maya, more to the northwestern. That's in northwestern Belize, no? Or yes, we call it by the tributaries. Yes, in northwestern Belize, no? That would be correct, no?
And also I know in modern times, they also destroyed one of the companies. I think might have been BEC or so, also destroyed 3 Mayan villages in the Hillbank area, and took the inhabitants and took them to today's San Jose Palmar. I learned that on a Belize watch show.
Shameful. That
is so.
That
right?
is what the British, they don't want us to read about, but that is true history.
Yeah, they brought the villages and brought the people and settled them in San Jose Palmar.
They forced them out from San Jose, Yalbak. And they were brought to Orange Walk, and finally I think the British government gave them what is today San Jose Palmar.
So the people at San Jose Palmar have special title over the land because of the arrangement that was made for compensation. but actually they were forcefully taken and brought there by the colonial power at the time.
Yes, yes. Shameful.
Well, the extractors of whatever riches the country had.
British shameful policy at the time.
Yeah.
Colonial policy.
Yeah, colonial policy.
And it's happening today. I heard that there are problems with squatters in Belize City. Is that right? With people who have been squatting on lands and because there's no more land.
Yeah.
And they, increasing population.
I'm not too sure how that is going, but
I'm not sure, but something like that is happening today, where people are being evicted, forced out of land they are occupying.
The other so to me it's important to when I record these shows, and I learned a whole lot, and then I'm able to piece things together, because right now what you're doing, I'm just piecing this whole thing together in my mind as to what happened. This thing like the burn, like when they burnt those villages and took the people of San Jose to today's San Jose Palmar, right?
Can I take you back then to the classic
let's
period?
Go back to the classic period.
I think I have established, that the Chactemal temple then, along with Ceros in the pre-classic period, all this foundation of greatness was laid.
I think we have established that the pre-classic period is the period before Christ.
Yeah.
And the classic period will be after Christ, right? Would that be right?
About, say, 200, 300 AD, after Christ.
After Christ,
yeah. Okay. And what happens there is that we see the prosperity of the temples in the lowlands, what we call the lowland Maya. Okay, and then we see there the growth, because it was evolutionary, not revolutionary. The evolutionary history of Chactemal at the time. So Chactemal grew with the classic Maya. And when they started to face their problems, in fact, if you followed me, one of the factors that we are attributing to their abandonment or decline was the fact that Chactemal continued progressing, moving ahead, and the development of this trading network then bypassing them, in fact, was a cause of their abandonment. As one of the factors. Do you see it? So Chactemal continues growing and growing and growing.
And support.
Yes. Yeah. So 800, 900, when the temples are being abandoned in the lowlands, I think
the lowlands you'd term as the central lowlands would be like Altunha and those places.
If you notice, it's a cluster of temples there that were abandoned. And then if you look at the map, you're going to see how they were bypassed really by this trade. They were bypassed. And therefore now the continued prosperity of Chactemal became a factor of the central lowland Mayas being abandoned. So it's this growth here. And we should mention also that Chactemal grew along with Lamanai. And in fact, we still have to do more research, but we have in fact that Lamanai was part of this province too.
That's what I was saying. That's the connection I was making.
Yes.
Lamanai and all those cities that were along the bank of the river lagoon and the New River, so because they all ended out here, right in front of Chactemal.
So they were not bypassed; they were part of this growth. Which is Lamanai and all those areas. So then, what I think is important to note is that then Chactemal, in the post-classic period, in what anthropologists, archaeologists have termed as the post-classic, which is around 900 to the time of the arrival of the Spanish, then that period corresponded to the classic period of Chactemal.
And the arrival of the Spaniards.
Then that was what stopped
the whole thing. When the Spaniards came, they brought a whole lot of stuff with them, I think, including diseases.
That's right. And in fact, when we believe, and I am a strong believer, and I am doing a lot of research on this, I believe that if the Mayas were left alone and no Spaniards would have come, that the Mayas would have entered the technological era. Or more the development of more technology. Why I say that is that when the Spaniards arrive, and we have documents to prove that young ladies, especially maybe the elite Maya, were already wearing gold. Gold.
In my mind, and I don't know how you see it, but in my mind, I don't think Columbus discovered anything. Because how could you discover something that already existed and then start history which predates you? You know? I mean, here we are sitting on a site that's almost 5,000 years old, and then we want to start our history with Columbus. You know, to me, that is a no-no, and I personally don't celebrate Columbus Day. You know,
you would like people to know.
I don't. What's your take on that? Am I unique in
you
that?
are correct.
Or?
We are in that. Yes, we can't credit Columbus with discovering us. That's what I am saying. Our history doesn't start with them.
That's looking at our history through a European standpoint,
right.
Not through the real history.
A Eurocentric way of looking at things. No. That's why I am insisting and I'm emphasizing, and I'm in the process of maybe publishing a book on the history of Corozal, because we have to change that. This is a myth. You know, all the myths, we have to debunk them, you know, from British and Spanish, you know, that they came to write our history, you know, which are not true.
And this one defeat the next one at this battle and what have you. No, our history goes beyond all that. Our real history goes beyond all that. You know, anyway, that would be the subject of another show, I guess.
Right. The post-classic period then corresponds to the classic of the Chactemal Maya. I think it's clear. I think I'm making myself clear. You know, so the classic period of the Chactemal Maya happened during what archaeologists, anthropologists call the post-classic of the Maya, not the general Maya. So it happened between 900 to the arrival of the Spaniards.
And the Spaniards arrived.
The peak of their greatness, no? Of the Chactemal Corozal.
That's 900 AD to the arrival of the Spaniards. So when the Spaniards came here, they found a thriving city.
That's right, and thriving. And Columbus said it. Columbus had it in his documented that. He said that he saw the boats, big boats, you know, moving from all in front of Belize. In fact, he was right there by Honduras, you know, seeing the Mayas, you know, with their big boats moving up and down.
But looking now at back now to Chactemal. So the first Spaniards who were the first Spaniards to approach?
Before we go into that, I want to mention that the history of Chactemal Corozal at the time of their apogee, their greatness, Chactemal became an area where a lot of the deceding or runaway people who are running away, some kind of what bad rule, if you want to say, or misrule, you know, they would run away. We see the beginnings of what the history of Chactemal has become: a place of refuge, a place of resistance, a place where the people are independent and claim autonomy. And I want to show you briefly what happened. During the post-classic period now, we see now Yucatan. We turn our attention to Yucatan because all the other areas to the south now have declined. Yeah. So the Yucatan area now, we have the Itza Mayas who actually founded and I think built the great Chichen Itza.
Yeah.
But that's why Itza, no? But they institute a different type of government, where the Mayas had been more of a kind of a Halachwinic kingly, you know, one person, you know. We see now a family rule displacing that concept, no? And we find then for about 200 years that between, let's say, 900 or maybe 300 to 1,200, now we're talking present, no? We find the Itzas now are controlling the Yucatan area. And what happens there is that after 1,200, there is a rebellion, a revolution there, and the Kokoms actually drive out the Tsars.
The Kokoms?
The Kokom family.
What is the Kokom? The same Kokoms that we know?
Yes, that's why important. I mean, you brought up there.
Yeah.
Yes, the same Kokom family. We have Itzab. We still have the Itzab.
Itzab, yeah. We have
The
Itzab.
Itzabs had to abandon Yucatan, all that area where the temple is, and they were driven out, and they then moved more south, and they founded the Itzá Maya Lake Petén today, where Flores Petén is.
Yeah, Flores Petén is, yeah.
And that's another story that's related to the Chactemal.
To Chactemal, yeah.
And so they move there, and now the Kokoms rule. They move now the center of power from Chichen to Mayapan. That's another temple built by the Mayas,
And
but then
Mayapan
under
is-
the
is
Kokom. Still
in-
about a few miles away from north or northeast of Chichen Itza.
Yeah,
Mayapan.
Mayapan. I'm familiar. No, I'm familiar with it now. I think I've been around there.
So they institute what some people have termed the Maya, which the Maya never ruled a kingdom or kingdoms, empire, but that is what we see now with the Kokoms. In fact, what they did was force all the other, including Chactemal, all the different chiefdoms at the time, and they forced them under their rule in the Mayapan. But they did it up to 1,400. Notice that's just about 92 years before the Spaniards arrived. And they now were driven out. Another big revolution there, and they are driven out from Mayapan, and they destroyed what was called then the Mayapan League, including Chactemal, which is very important to know, no? How Chactemal reacted, how they developed with that concept now.
So Chactemal was destroyed then, you said?
No. I'm saying Mayapan.
Mayapan was destroyed.
By now another group, another family, the Shu. And we have the Shu here family,
Yeah.
ex-Ayu Shu family. And then the Shu take over. So what I'm trying to point out that before then the arrival of the Spaniards here on our coast, we find the Mayas divided in Yucatan.
They were divided.
They were divided. And we know from documents here that the Shu actually sided, not knowing later that they would be victims of that, to sided with Montejo, with the Spaniards, to destroy their other friends, the Maya, the Kokoms and the Itzas.
Is that what led to Guerra de Castas? No, You're laying the foundation. Yeah, I'm saying Guerra de Castas is much more modern.
Yes, but I'm laying the foundation there so that you see the development. What happens now is that Yucatan is divided into two parts, northern and southern. And the northern then was easy prey or vulnerable to the Spanish. So that is why today Chactemal then became the center of resistance, because we were not in the north.
Thank you for joining us on Belize Watch Revisited as we look back at some of the stories we have covered over the years.
Belize Watch. Knowledge of the past, impacting the present, building the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one.